I understand that you say that the R1 million that was paid on the 28th of April was a loan.
Correct.
Was that true of all of the other amounts as well? Were those loans from Mr. Mackay to you?
No, the others were just assistance.
So you didn't expect him to ask you to pay any of these amounts back?
No, not at all.
Including the 250,000 amount on the 22nd of September 2015?
Not at all.
In relation to that loan of R1 million, can I ask you to go to page 325 of bundle 16? Did you conclude any written loan agreement with Mr. Mackay?
No, no, Chairperson.
If you look at this template, it provides for repayment with interest at the prime rate. Did you discuss interest with Mr. Mackay?
Not at all.
You understand that this loan that Mr. Mackay made you attracts interest? Or is it interest-free?
No, this is just a draft which we did not sign. The understanding between Mr. Mackay and I, Chairperson, was that to an extent that you, my friend, you need assistance, I'll give you a loan on the understanding that when your finances stabilizes, you will repay me. And I can assure you that even if I speak to him today, I will still assure him that as soon as I get a stable job, the job I have today is a very political appointment. I can be removed tomorrow. So I can't commit that I will pay him to me as a deputy minister. But the commitment, he knows as a friend that the commitment is there to pay him back.
Mr. Kodwa, do I understand from your arguments, that's not from your arguments, from your answers, that thus far you still haven't repaid any amounts of that R1 million loan?
Correct.
Are you in? If Mr. Mackay asked for the money tomorrow, would you be able to pay it back to him?
This is a conversation between friends. He knows very well, he can't rock up one morning at my house and say, I demand my 1 million. He knows very well that I will not have that 1 million tomorrow. So this is a conversation which is not a normal loan agreement with strict conditions. That's why it's a flexible between friends.
Invoice 76, and the number is invoice 76, and the reference is Mr. Z Kodwa.
Correct.
And if you look down at these descriptions of the accommodation, do you recognize these as places where you stayed in Cape Town on the dates in question? So Barbados.
Yes, I do.
Now, this is an invoice that was sent to EOH for that accommodation. And you'll see that the total amount that EOH was billed for that accommodation was 656,200. EOH had a credit with the travel agent, so the amount due was only 426,200. But the amount that was charged for that accommodation was 656,000. And that's all in a space of time from 23 December 2015, sorry, from 29 October 2015 to 5 January 2016. So it's less than 3 months. I see in your affidavit that you understood that this accommodation was provided to you by Mr. Mackay.
Correct.
Is that correct?
100%.
So you understood it to be Mr. Mackay's personal gesture to you. It came from Mr. Mackay.
Hospitality.
Not, yes. And it was his gesture as opposed to EOH's gesture, as far as you were aware.
Correct.
Did you know at the time that this accommodation did not belong to Mr. Mackay and that somebody was going to have to pay for it?
No.
Excuse me.
You accept now that somebody did have to pay for it and the amount paid was 656,200.
Well, like I said, Chairperson, that I have no reason to doubt the documents from this Honorable Commission. But let me just give a context. Mr. Mackay has a number of properties, as far as I understand, around Cape Town. He's got, sometimes if he will not be able to accommodate me during the period that we're talking about, he will tell me that he's got other properties that he's got access to. In other words, it's not in my instance that I will go to a property that is so-called extravagant or luxury and say, I want that property. That is the first thing. The second thing is that Mr. Mackay, if you look at one of those properties, number 5 Middleton. Number 5 Middleton is his house. It's not a guest house. It's not a rental house. So whether what happens arrangement he has in terms of his services as part of providing and offering hospitality, I wouldn't know. But what I know is that I never asked Mr. Mackay that I will need accommodation, can you pay for this? Because my understanding was that he was not paying for that accommodation. I was using some of his properties. And therefore, Chairperson, the difficulty about hospitality. If you visit me, I decided to be this extravagant, I slaughter a goat, I can't say no, slaughter a chicken. So it's hospitality.